Welcome to this dive into the world of tactical football. Most people would prefer to focus on the football with their feet, but we are going to learn how to do it with our head. So starting off simply, we're talking about zones, what they are or where they are, and how you can use them when you are playing a match or managing the players who are playing the match. So let's begin the video. First, we will dive into this topic by explaining the positions on the field. This is to help any player or manager identify who is operating in that zone and what role they play there. There are different ways to divide the pitch, and this has been showcased by different managers, for example Pep Guardiola and Jose Mourinho. But to begin with, we can analyze 4 different sections on the pitch to identify what roles players play in them. The first quarter of the pitch is labelled as build-up, and the defenders and goalkeeper are responsible in this area. The defenders and the goalkeeper must effectively communicate to progress the ball past the first line of pressure, the opposition's attackers, who will be looking to try and take the ball from the defenders or the goalkeeper. The defenders will look to progress the ball forward and most likely pass it on to either the wingers or a central midfielder, who will forward the ball to the wingers. The wingers then pass the ball to the strikers, whose job is to finish and put the ball behind the net. This is illustrated in the diagram as build-up, defenders and the goalkeeper, progress, winger or central midfielder, attack, wingers and or strikers, and the goal, which is just the striker's job. We can also divide the pitch into 5 horizontal sections to help identify which position players need to move into to allow for an effective build-up. The pitch is labelled symmetrically, so there is the right and left wing, the right and left half space, and the centre of the pitch. We can see that when we combine our divisions on the pitch, we create these almost sections or boxes where players would have the responsibility to operate in. These boxes can be divided further, and if you do so, you get an interesting area called Zone 14. Now, Zone 14 is the idea that if the ball is crossed into or passed into Zone 14, there's a high chance that a goal will occur. This was implemented in the World Cup winning French squad in 1998, where the finisher was often Zidane or Henry, and the crosses coming from Robert Pires or Bernard Diomede. When combined, these separations of zones and ideas have been used by the Barcelona side that won the treble and have been used by Pep Guardiola many times. These zones help these players identify where they are meant to be and when. For example, the midfield, you can see that when combined they form a triangle shape. They can rotate between each other as long as their communication is effective and essentially occupy these zones all the time. But the player there isn't necessarily stuck in that zone. He can rotate and swap with other players. This type of fluidity allows for more chances to be created and more goals and faster passes to essentially get the goal. We can see how Inter used team build-up to try and create an opening for Zone 14 to be attacked at, so that a goal can occur. Pandev moves in towards Zone 14 and attracts Alves to follow him, and leaves the left wing empty. Schneider runs into that empty space and is now a goal threat, as he can cross the ball into the box and start an attack. However, we can also assess how important Zone 14 is in the attack, as the attack doesn't come from the wings, but a cross into Zone 14, which causes a goal to happen. This can apply to any team, as combination play can be effective in creating spaces to allow more goals to happen, but it can only occur if there's a striker in Zone 14 and 2 players on the wing to provide an assist and lead the defender away. There's also some more information about Zone 14 that I think should be shared. Fast plays into Zone 14 creates perfect chances to score because it is so close to the goal. And this is important because if this is exploited, if Zone 14 is exploited, it can really help score lots of goals and progress the game forward, essentially. Zidane, Gerrard, Xavi, Iniesta, David Silva, and Kevin De Bruyne all played in and have success at Zone 14. Xavi had better success setting up passes for Iniesta or Messi, while Iniesta has better success finishing these passes. This is important because what player is playing in Zone 14? Is he a player that prefers to pass, or a player that is good at finishing the attack? Xavi also has better defensive stats, which is important because Zone 14 is so close to the opposition's goal. If they manage to counter-attack and a striker that's there is able to defend that counter from the beginning, it also easily sets up another goal, which is very important. In the next video, we will discuss how players can use these shapes, spaces, and tactics to create opportunities for themselves to score and how they can spot these opportunities. So, for now, this is the end of the video, and I hope that you enjoyed it and you found it useful.